Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praises, honor, glory, respect, and blessings to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakwadash. Salutations to the Lord's elect on the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth and sincerity while patiently waiting for Yahweh Shai's return. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which have taught us everything we know through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. We are living in a cold war. And the reason why I say that is because, well, if you've been paying close attention in the news, there's a lot that's been going on. If you've been paying attention to the news, there's been a lot going on. We're talking about countries putting sanctions on other countries. We're talking about countries attempting to cause an economic collapse by sanctions. We're talking about an attack on food supply. We're talking about people protesting and storming food stores because of soaring food prices. The whole situation with Russia, Ukraine, the United States is sending ally support to NATO. You know, Bulgaria talking about protesting and rebelling against Russia because Russia decided to raise the price on their gas, which they want to sell to Bulgaria because Bulgaria does not want to. They don't want to buy gas in ruble. So when you put all these things together, you start to realize that we're living in a cold war right now. Same thing that's going on now was going on during World War II. Sanctions here, sanctions that, you know. So we are living in another cold war. Okay, Ephesians chapter 5, verse 15. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time because the days are evil. So we got to be redeeming the time here. Because, yeah, these days are evil. We're talking about a famine here, a rise in gas and oil prices in certain countries. You know, this is a cold war all over again. Okay, and now the latest thing is this whole situation with China. Okay, China's talking about what was it? They was gonna launch an assault on Taiwan, but then the United States has sent a warship over there to pretty much interfere. So that pretty much put China's attack on Japan to a halt, a temporary stop. And nonetheless, we still got North Korea test firing intercontinental ballistic missiles. You know? So the Lord is gearing these nations up for war. And a matter of fact, you get that in Joel, the 3rd chapter. Okay. Okay, Joel chapter 3, verse 9. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Now the Gentiles in Joel 3, verse 9 is talking about anybody who is not an Israelite. So if your father's lineage on your father's side does not go back to a so-called Negro, Latino, or a Native Indian, then you're not an Israelite, because the Israelites are the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Indians. So the Gentiles here is talking about, you know, the so-called white man It's talking about the Chinese people, the Japanese people, the so-called white Russians, the so-called white Europeans, the so-called white Australians, the Hawaiians. It's talking about the Arabs, the East Indians, and the Africans, as well as those fake Jewish people in the land of Israel. They're not Jewish, okay? They are descendants of Esau. Those people in the land of Israel telling the world they're Jewish, they're not Jewish. According to the Holy Scriptures, they are descendants of Amalek. Amalek is one of the descendants of Esau. Okay? So those people in the land of Israel, they really come from the line of Esau. But these are your Gentiles of Joel 3 and 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. And that's, you know, when you go into the news, that's all you see and hear about nowadays. All you hear about is, you know, oh, this happened. You know, Russia attacked this area. You know, Russia's, bombing this place. This building got destroyed. Several Russian troops died. Several Ukrainian troops were killed. You know, civilians got caught up in the crossfire of Russia's bombings. And, you know, we're hearing about wars and rumors of wars. Okay, oh, you know what? Yeah, let me get that. Because Yahushua even said there was going to be wars and rumors of wars. Matthew chapter 24, verse 6. And then I'll head back to Joel. Okay, it says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. Okay, right? Especially the whole thing with China and Japan recently. I think Japan was the one who said that Taiwan was going to become the new Ukraine. Okay, and you had what, Japanese soldiers, you know, who were basically ready to stand their ground and fight off any kind of invading troops from China. Okay. North Korea keeps test firing intercontinental ballistic missiles, which Japan is claiming is landing in their oceans, threatening the security of their land. And nonetheless, we still got the United States sending billions of dollars of military aid to Ukraine. Meanwhile, the so-called elites are fighting to systematically crash the United States dollar. They want to crash the United States dollar so everything can go digital, okay? Now remember, last month, after this assault on Ukraine, it just sounded really suspicious how after this attack on Ukraine by Russia, that Ukraine all of a sudden became a digital society. You know, now if that don't sound suspicious, then I don't know what does. But it says, see that ye be not troubled, for all these things must first come to pass, but the end is not yet. So, yeah, you know, you're not supposed to be troubled when you hear about these things. If you're a brother in the truth, if you're truly sincere about, you know, wanting to get up out of this wicked, corrupted kingdom, you'd be excited when you read, when you hear about things like what's going on with the whole Russia-Ukraine situation. You'd be excited, actually. You wouldn't be troubled by it. You'd be excited. All right, so just give me a moment here. So, Joel chapter 3, verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. And that's what these countries are doing. They're preparing for war. Wake up the mighty men. Okay. Let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I am strong. So in other words, these countries they're getting themselves ready to fight World War III. Because World War III is going to be the biggest and greatest and most drastic war of any war that has ever taken place on this planet. You know what I mean? Of course, except for the time of when King David was in rulership. You know, King David and his mighty men was doing some off the wall type shit when they was going to war. Okay, we talking about, man, that was probably flipping over horses and jumping over walls and catching arrows with their hands and throwing it back at the archer and shit. You know, so yeah, you know. And then there was that time with the Maccabees. And the Lord, he did a miracle. He made that apparition appear, scared the hell out of those pursuers who was pursuing Judas Maccabees and his military men. But yeah, World War III is going to be a seriously terrifying time. Okay. So verse 11: assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about thither. Cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. So let the heathen be awakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. Now, like when you look up Jehoshaphat, it goes back to the Hebrew word Yahweh Shaphat, which means Yahweh's the judge. For there will he sit to judge the heathen round about. The Lord is going to judge those heathens over there in the Middle East for what they have done to the Israelites. Okay? This is all a part of the Lord's plan to bring judgment on those heathens. Okay, it says, put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get you down. And we're getting ready to enter into the time where, you know, we're getting ready to enter into the time of harvest. You know, which the harvest is what? The gathering. It says, come get you down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. Now, I want to go from there because during World War III, it's going to escalate into a nuclear war. No, wait a minute. That's not Isaiah, the 24th. That's Isaiah, the 34th chapter. Hold on. Tripping. Okay, Isaiah chapter 34, verse 1. Come near, ye nations, to hear. Now, if you notice, it says ye nations. That's talking about those Gentiles in Joel 3 and 9. Okay? And hearken, ye people. You know, when we go out on the highways and hedges, this is basically the message that we are relaying to the heathens, you know. You know, hearken. You know, because the message is this. The Lord is going to judge you during World War III. Okay? And in this exact same chapter, it's going to describe to you what World War III is going to be like over there in the Middle East. It says, and hearken ye people, let the earth hear and all that is therein, the world and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He have utterly destroyed them. He have delivered them to the slaughter. Because that's what it's going to be like over there. It's going to be, you know, one big bloodbath. It's going to, you know, it's going to get really messy over there. You know, there's going to be large puddles of blood everywhere. It's going to be dead bodies. You know, it's going to start reeking of death over there. You know, it's not going to just be American soldiers that are going to be dead over there. You know, it's going to be dead Russian soldiers, dead Ukrainian soldiers. You know, and I'm talking about the Middle East, where Iran is. Because remember, World War III is going to start when those gutter rats go into Iran. Okay? And then they bring the United States into their confrontation with them. Okay, so it says, their stink shall also be casted out, and shall come up out of their carcasses. What is a carcass? A carcass is a corpse, a body without a spirit, a dead person. Okay? Now, I believe it's the book of Mark. No, not the book of Mark. I believe it was the book of Matthew's, the 25th chapter, where I can't remember, but I remember Mary and their sister, they came to Yahushua because their brother Lazarus was dead. And Mary's sister basically told Yahushua, like, are you sure you want to go in there? It's been 4 days now, and his body started to decay. So when a spirit leaves a person's body, that body slowly starts to decompose. The flesh starts to rot from the inside out. And that's why, the corpse starts to stink. And after 4 days, oh man, it gets really bad. Okay? So it says their slain shall be cast out. Now, when it says their slain shall be cast out, that's talking about, because when a bullet hits somebody in their torso or in their stomach, what's going to happen? You're going to see guts. You're going to see guts coming out of a person's body. You're going to see intestines coming out of a person's body. Just all kind of, flesh coming out of that person's body. So their slain shall be cast out. We're talking about guts, intestines, probably stomach acid. Their slain shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses. And the mountains shall be melted with their blood, because it's there's going to be so much killing being done over there that literally, like, blood is going to be coming up it's going to be coming up, above ankles. It's going to be large pools of blood, large puddles of blood everywhere. There's going to be limbs laying around. So it's going to get very, very bad over there. It says, and all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. So it said the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. What Isaiah is describing here is what? The nuclear destruction. That's what he's describing. He's describing the nuclear destruction. Okay? Now, furthermore, when you look at the explosion of a nuclear bomb, what do you see? First, you see a white flash, then you hear a loud boom, loud enough to bust your eardrums. And then you see the mushroom cloud. Okay? So that's what Isaiah meant when he said the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. He was describing what a mushroom cloud from a nuclear explosion looks like. Okay? Now, nuclear bombs did not exist during Isaiah's time. So, I mean, why would he call it a bomb in the Holy Scriptures or a nuclear explosion? There was no such thing as bombs during the time of Isaiah. So he described the mushroom cloud of a nuclear explosion to the best of his ability. You see? Okay. It says, and all their hosts shall fall down, as the leaf falleth from off the vine, and as a falling fig from the tree. Okay? Verse 5. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Right. Isaiah said that for my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Now, when you look at an intercontinental ballistic missile, the first place it goes when it goes for launch off is it shoots up towards the sky, then it goes up into so-called space, within the ozone layer of the earth, and then it travels around the globe to their designated target. Now, the Spirit of the Lord is going to be in these intercontinental ballistic missiles. So you're not going to hear about a single, intercontinental ballistic missile hitting each other and all that shit. Nah, you're not going to hear about that. You're not going to hear about these things being shot out of the sky either. Because the Spirit of the Lord is going to be in those intercontinental ballistic missiles. Okay? It says, for my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea. Now, Idumea is the Greek way of saying Edom. Okay? So the sword of the Lord is going to come down upon Edom. Okay? And who are the Edomites today? So-called white people, starting with the so-called elites, trickling down to the rest of their nation of people. They are the biblical Edomites. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea. And upon the people of my curse to judgment. Okay, Revelation chapter 11, verse 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. The third woe is talking about World War III. Okay? So, yeah, the third woe cometh quickly. World War III. Which is ultimately going to start when the so-called Israelis go into Iran, and then they cause America to get involved in their confrontation against Iran. Because when that happens, Russia is going to step in. China is going to step in because they're an ally of Russia. Germany is going to step in. NATO is going to step in because they are an ally of the United States. Inevitably, NATO is going to turn on the United States. Okay? Okay, Iran is going to be involved, obviously. Ukraine is going to get involved. North Korea is going to get involved. South Korea is going to get involved. Libya is going to get involved. And just like that, it's going to be one big war over there in Iran. Which is going to be what? It's going to be the war to end all wars. Okay, it's going to be the war to end all wars. And this country, known as America, shall be hit with 200 million missiles. So with that, I'm going to say shalom. It's on to the next one.